they say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I'll pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering, succotash, son.
It's one of your nuts hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast. It is I, alone. Yeah, my head's feeling a bit fucked today. When is it not? I had like a 4-hour like interview today, so I just feel like I've been continuously speaking to a camera, and now I'm speaking about wrestling, which is just weird. Yeah, and the voice of reason is not with us this week, Lucy. So we're just gonna tackle fruits, and to make matters more chaotic, I watched half live, and proceeded to only watch 1 hour, then stayed up till 4 a.m. So I could have just watched the whole thing anyway. So now the first half of this podcast is just me trying to remember what happened and like reading my notes back and being like, oh yeah, that did happen. But yeah, Dynamite, like it was pretty good, wasn't it? It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. So yeah, I mean, first gripe though, this was pushed all over social media. Moxley's going to seize the Superstation. I was really excited for this, and I thought like what we were going to get was sort of like the Elite DX takeover of production. It's just going to be a complete overhaul from the intro to perhaps like censorship production of the commentary, but that isn't what happened at all. So I'm very confused. Like, did anyone else think that when you hear C's in the Superstation, I think like he's going to be fucking running the show? Did anyone else think that, or am I just fucking delusional? Could be. But yeah, we opened up with Christian with Hangman for the grudge match against Jay White and Juice Robinson, which was like, whew, we are. But I mean, this whole card was pretty stacked with matches. They could have opened with any of them really, and it would have been a great start to the show. But and also we had Nigel returning on commentary. Great to see him back. He was on top form, and I think like I realised while I was watching this, because last week I was talking about, I mean, I love Hangman and Jay White individually, so of course I'm going to love them in a feud together. But the thing is, when I was watching them, I was just thinking, God, they have star power, and God, AEW has so much star power. And that was another thing about the show, is everyone was clocked in. The past few weeks been a bit patchy, and you're like, where's Takeshita? Where's Ospreay? Where's Swerve? And it just goes to show how full a Dynamite can feel when they actually, book the people that are on the paycheck, that they could a paycheck for. Turns out that's good for business. Who would have thought it? But yeah, dude, I just really love them together, and it was great to see them fight and not holding them apart, because it just added a little bit of like catharsis, and I feel like we needed that to keep the feud going rather than keeping them apart till like before the pay-per-view. And I also wrote, it's great to see the viciousness of Christian. I thought he looked because sometimes I guess like with the character of Christian, it's kind of caricature-esque. That isn't even a word, I just invented it. You're welcome. But it's I don't know, sometimes he kind of loses the edge a bit, but he was here in full force. Nasty, very nasty, delivering of the moves. And yeah, we had a little bit where Nick was setting up to attack Juice, but Hook attacked from behind, sort of out of nowhere. And I love this because I love how it really feels like they're trying to, with every feud that is going on right now, be it the Mox Death Rider thing, be it the Kyle Fletcher Ospreay thing, be it the Takeshita thing, be it this, there is such, every focal point of these feuds seems to be like really pushing for the younger guys that really haven't had a chance to shine in a in a sort of what would you call it, a star worthy program. I don't know, but it's very very nice. As me and Lucy have said time and time again on the program, fucking hell, on the podcast. It'd be lovely to see Nick Wayne do something. It'd be lovely to see Hook do something, and yeah, seeing them do something together is great. And obviously, that cost that cost Christian, because while he was distracted by this kerfuffle, he was attacked. So we're seeing no more Golden Boy. Nick Wayne is the Golden Boy. That sort of is coming undone, and it's great because like the way that the patriarchy and the family were treating Nick Wayne, they were treating. So I told you guys, there's going to be a hustle, but we're going to get through it. The way that they were treating Killswitch, you know, it's nice to see him sort of get that comeuppance. But at the same time, it's like, I still feel kind of bad. I still feel kind of bad for him. I can't lie. That's his dad, man. That's his dad. But what a feud they're going to have at the end of this. And yeah, with the Blade Runner into the post of the barricade, that was very nice. And then Kip interfered, which led to the Deadeye finish to Juice. So that's what I loved about it. It all tied in. Like Nick Wainwright, he's kind of he didn't cost the match, but he made them lose focus. But it was Kip Sabian that sealed the deal. Really, really interesting stuff. So I just loved everything about this match. Thought it was fabulous. Then we had Monet with Camille backstage with Renee, and yeah, she was giving attitude to Camille again, who would drop the coat. And I put, is this how we are building sympathy? It seems so. I know Lucy was talking about last week, and she was like, they're going to maybe end this soon, as in like the team of Camille and Monet. But I don't know. I feel like this is going to be like a long-winded sort of thing. But and I said that, and I said it's like a Wardlow MGF thing. But I don't know, like the fact then that Stat comes in and then just treats her like an absolute chump, runs through it. I'm sorry, if the only thing about Camille is one, she's the lackey of Monet, and two, she's a big woman, she's a big strong woman. But then she doesn't even have that fucking notching about anymore because Stat's just coming overpowered. And as a Stat fan, you know, I'm not the biggest Monet fan, certainly not a Camille fan. So for me, I'm like, hell yeah. But even I can. It's like the House of Black stuff, and the House of Black kind of winning me round a bit now because it's like sometimes I just feel bad for people. Do you know what I mean? Like even if I don't like them as a wrestler, I'm like I still feel kind of bad for you because you're not good, but you're better than this. Like, come on, you're at least a 3 out of 10. You're not a 1 out of 10. Bloody hell. So yeah, is this how we are going to garner the sympathy for Camille for the face turn? And is that effective? Don't know. Don't know if it. I don't know. I said Stat came out of nowhere, launched Camille, and then she tried to go for Monet. There was like a little bit of a scuffle, and then she speared them both through like a drywall. It's great. I mean, at least with like just the crazy booking of Stat and how strong she is, at least it's a little. It lightens the pain of that quick face turn and that quick pull away from Stokely Hathaway, because at least they have something for her. However, how's the match going to work out? Because like, not at any point of Monet and Camille seemed like a tangible threat, even when they're together with the numbers game. Because in wrestling we love the numbers game. So I'm really fucking manic today. I feel like we really love that numbers game. But yeah, even with that shit. Right? This kind of power is like, what? Anyway. And then we had Ospreay with Tony Schiavone in the ring. And he discussed Takeshita having the title and called out Kyle Fletcher for a chat. Obviously, he's been having a bit of a Britney Spears moment, hasn't he? God. And Fletcher does come out and he says, oh, if you lay a finger on me, the family... Sorry, I'm having great difficulty right now with my Hello Kitty. we're back. This is where it all gets written on, by the way. Every fucking week. The power that this has. It's almost like if I gave this to Tony Khan, it's almost like he could maybe run an amazing company. Shut up. Shut up. Right, anyway. Yeah, he said if he lays his finger on me, family's going to intervene. And Osprey asked him to empty his pockets, and he turned in the screwdriver, and he took it and threw it, and it landed in the mat. Not sure if that was intentional, but a great shot nonetheless. I love a shot. I love that can mean multiple things. Love an alcoholic shot. But I love like a good shot in wrestling. Like that really gets me going. Like I just love it. You know, like that the last shot I can think of, the last great shot was Danielson when he lost and it panned out to the baby faces and just a defeated look on their face, but defiance and hope. I don't know, like a picture speaks 1,000 words and all that, innit? It's like the fork in the road, the screwdriver in the mat. Just love it. You know what? There should be like an art gallery. I should open like an art gallery exhibition for wrestling. It's just like legendary shots. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Anyway, Osprey talked about their sentimental history. You know, they go way back. And again, love how these feuds are focusing on the new talent. Kyle says he wanted him to be his clone and do his dirty work. Speaking about Osprey, which is I love when a heel is super self-righteous but lacks self-awareness. Because also same, like, highly relatable. But yeah, because obviously that's what Callis is doing to him, manipulating him, but he doesn't see that. And I love that, as I say in this podcast, I love a cinematic. I love a cinematic shot, and I fucking love a motif. And I love when there's like a theme, and the theme right now is like the theme that I'm getting from AEW at the minute is like cult, indoctrination, families, and it's not like, I know it's obviously like the Callis family, but like, you know, even the Hurt Syndicate, the strength in numbers, and you know, you could maybe relate that to the wider world, the political landscape, desperation, people clinging to perhaps authoritarian regimes. You could point that out, but yeah, I love it. I just absolutely fucking love it. Yeah, and he's talking about his Osprey begins talking about Kyle Fletcher's accomplishments, buries him, but Fletcher's like, you know, they'll all come to fruition at Full Gear when I beat you. Osprey accepts the challenge. Cage and Archer join, but Davis and Hobbs come in to even the odds. And then there's like a brawl, and then Archer is left alone in the ring. Lol. I just found that funny because there was just no reaction. Roderick came out with a kendo stick. This was a falls count anyway match between him and Lance Archer to see whether he's going to go into the match against MJF and potentially as we find out later, no, Adam Cole at Full Gear. So the third thing that I love in pro wrestling, guys, is when things are chaotic and they link. Oh, I love it. And one of my favourite periods in wrestling, 2016, 2017 SmackDown. Talking Smack era. And you know what? That's a brave shout. That's a brave shout, I feel like, in a world of ruthless aggression and the Attitude Era, and of course the Bloodline and modern WWE. There's many periods, but I that period has such a special place in my heart for like how it felt like a big family, and everyone was interlinked, everyone was in each other's business, everyone like had a relation, all the wrestlers and characters have relationships with each other, and again, like Talking Smack facilitated a lot of that. But yeah, it's realistic though. Like it's absolutely realistic, and I love the chaotic feeling of like things being called on the fly, even though they're obviously not. But I love it. And even later when like the Mox thing happened and the Death Rides and commentary kind of trying to gather order, but they couldn't because the cameraman was like following Moxley like out into the car park. I just love it. Like, good soup. Anyway, I also wrote down another pointer that I want to point out, and I want to get your takes on it. This tactic AEW has at the minute, right, of using shocking matches to get over wrestlers with low clout. We've seen this a lot with the Jericho thing. How can we get people interested in Jericho? I don't know. Let's break 5 tables. Some of y'all eat it up, some of you don't. I don't know. But it seems to be the thing at the moment, because this was a fun, crazy match, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a last resort, innit? It's like you have to, because you couldn't just have vanilla Roddy Lance Archer, because it'd be really boring. But yeah, I don't know. It's like TNA, innit? Like late TNA-esque. Like, please watch. Please watch. We have this crazy match. I don't know. But then, in a way, I found Lance Archer quite charismatic in this match, so maybe it works. I don't know. Just an observation. Just an observation, not a criticism. Yeah, and then someone had a sign that said, I drove 30 minutes to see Lance Archer. Well, 30 minutes isn't very far, especially very far in America, because I know the Americans be driving. They be driving 6 hours and be like, it's 10 minutes. So it felt like a very backhanded compliment. But either way, it was funny to me, because like I say, like I drove 30 minutes to see Lance Archer. Like, it sounds like you're negging him, but also I'm laughing if it was a flex, like you're a fan of Lance Archer. It just tickled me. Yeah, Brian Cage got involved, and then Bennett and Taven, and he chokeslammed, I believe, Taven. That was Lance Archer. It was off the barricade into security. This was really cool, and the way that he like had the balance and like the charisma that he had, the charisma this man had in the minute of this spot is more than perhaps his whole career. I was like, oh, like, you do have a personality. He's just a cheeky lad. They should let him be more cheeky more often. Less of this, I'm a monster. I'm gonna powerbomb and like, let him be cheeky. It's like Roman Reigns. Like, he was proper cheeky, but like they kept like when back in his heel day, like made him super serious. And it's just like, let the man have a bit of banter. I need Lucy. Fuck me. Yeah. And then Roddy sort of did a high knee over the barricade and he picked up the win. So he's had his 3 consecutive matches. And MJF is shown on screen with sort of a poker face. Takeshita comes out and he beats down Strong. And then that began his match against Adam Cole, because obviously the other week MJF had paid off Takeshita. So, well, he paid off Don Callis and turned Takeshita to level the odds against Adam Cole. So yeah, that's sort of like, and also he's having a match against him. But yeah, I liked that continuous chaotic flow, and I think it speaks a lot to, if you can do that, it speaks a lot to the products. Like I say, it's about characters interlinking. So if you have the ability to do that and do it well, clearly you're doing something right as a writer or a booker, because you've managed to get everyone to a place where everyone's significant, and as such, everyone's actions interweaves and interlinks. Very good, very nice. We had a heated brawl while Adam Cole made his entrance, which is the most other thing about him, gotta get that boom, baby. Speaking of boom, the Costco guys, we bring the boom. They're going against QT Marshall. Now, QT, I think, set it up, but also crushing my dreams a bit, because like I wanted to see Big AJ go against like Okada. Like I wanted freaking a returning Kenneth Omega to go against him. I want the Rizzler, man. I want it all. Still bringing it. Still bringing it. Still bringing it. I love that song. But yeah, they could have done the Adam Cole thing. Adam Cole, baby. Boom. And it's like, we bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom. Right. Brimrot. Yeah. So, fuck. Right, Adam Cole and Takeshita. Yeah, essentially, he was really working over Cole at the start, so alarm bells were kind of ringing, because this is kind of looking like the big bad heel is working over the babyface, and the babyface is going to have a defiant return. But Cole, he didn't look good in this match, not at any part, even when he was getting like his licks in. Takeshita just... I mean, if you want to expose someone who's not in... it's so hard, because I want to say the best shape, but I don't want to like shit on Adam Cole, because like he's been like, man's got a dead guy's bone in his foot. Like he's been through it, but you know, I'm not one to attack people's physiques. That's not what this is about. But just like, even like, it's hard because like he's only just come back, so like I don't know, but it's very exposing. It's very, very exposing. And it just never seemed believable that like he could have that babyface comeback. But then I thought he would, because it's wrestling, and because for the past 2 matches that he's had prior, he did do that sort of unbelievable comeback with Buddy Murphy and Malachi Black. And obviously the absolute lack of authenticity in both of those matches, I was thinking, well, they're just going to do it here. And as a big Takeshita fan, that was a very scary prospect. But Takeshita did pick up the win with the ring. The dynamite diamond ring, the dynamite ring, the diamond ring. God, this is unlistenable. He picked it up with that, which I don't know. I get it. It links in with the MJF story, but it's like, did he need that? It kind of cheapened it a bit. Because, like, it was believable enough with the way the lad was wrestling that he'd beat him. You know? As a Takeshita fan, I just wanted to see him just absolutely run through him and just win. But, and win he did, but, you know. So, this then set up MJF versus Strong, Full Gear. I did kind of think this might happen, and that MJF is going to brutalise Roddy, and then that's going to lead to like a greater emotional match for Adam Cole. I did predict this, but at the same time, it also elongates out this shitty feud for another pay-per-view. But it's poetic that it would end at World's End, which is poetically a year ago, when Max was taken out, lost his title. So I believe he did. My mind's playing tricks. But yeah, very, very poetic stuff there. So I get it, but it would have been nice to have just wrapped it up. The sooner the better. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting one to see how they sort of do that. Roddy then came in to sort of, you know, I guess, I don't know, console Cole or whatever he was, whatever the man was planning to do. But Takeshita was about to use the ring on him, but Kyle O'Reilly came in. Ricochet attacked Takeshita on the ramp as he was leaving, and then he dropped the title, which Ricochet picked up. And then we had Cole, O'Reilly and Strong left in the ring, but Kyle wouldn't shake Cole's hand. and commentary put over that, he's got a new squad, he's got the conglomeration. And honestly, I don't blame him. I'd rather be hanging out with them than Cole and Roddy. Like, they're just depressing. Man. But yeah, I don't know whether that'll be like they're gonna do something properly with that, or maybe they'll face each other in some kind of tournament or something. But it's pretty compelling. It's pretty compelling stuff. But yeah, it's just a bit difficult, isn't it? Because like I say, Roddy and Max on paper, like, it's not a draw of a match, is it? But yeah, I guess it makes sense. And then we get to have the super emotional Adam Cole overcoming MJF, but it's just not natural, and it's not where the story's taken us. It doesn't feel authentic. That's like my big issue with it, is none of it feels authentic. But I don't know. It'll be over soon. It'll be over soon enough, won't it? Then we had Renee. She was busy. She was very busy this episode with the Hurt Syndicate and MVP. MVP begins to take over the interview. What a dastardly man, speaking over a woman. Terrible. The bastard. And he begins to interview Lashley about Swerve, who's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to hurt him. And they're like, we'll have an eye on him tonight. So that was that. And then we got Mox/Death Riders coming out. And this began with Claudio and Yuta beating JD with a chair. Clap if you care. Hey, like that. Yeah, and like I say, this was just a promo. So what the hell are you on about seizing the Superstation? This is not seizing. This is just standard. I was worked, brother. I was worked. Yeah, Mox and Marina Shafir come out of the crowd stalls, and he says he's been thinking about Orange Cassidy and his failings to Wheeler Yuta and Chuck Taylor, and he says he's going to make an example of Orange. He's gonna be so disfigured his mum won't even recognise him. And yeah, I have no doubt that he will do that. I think it'll be a very brutal match, and as I said before, Orange Cassidy, he's the first step in this story. We're ending with Darby, but we are beginning with Orange Cassidy as the first of our heroes to step up and try to stop evil. Orange comes out. How long is this screen? Is Tron been black? Because I didn't notice it until today, but I feel like it's probably been black for months. Obviously, I've noticed his clothes been black, and I've noticed that we talked about it. But when did the Tron turn black? Please, someone inform me of that. And he's quite nonchalant as always, passionate but nonchalant in his promo. He talks about the title being held in the briefcase and what that represents, and that he wants to take the power back. He talks about a comment that Mox made a while ago, that they're playing chess and he's playing checkers. So if they're playing chess, he needs to get rid of the pawn that is Yuta to get to the king, which is very nice analogy. Why was his intonation, if that's the right word, reminding me of Kenny? The way he was delivering the promo, it really reminded me of Kenny. Might just be Kenny brain rot, because I'm foaming for his return. But yeah, just the way he was sort of speaking and like his cadence in his voice, it really reminded me of him. Mox answered for Yuta, because I said by saying he wants to get rid of the pawn that is Yui, was extending a match the following Dynamite next week, and Mox answered for Yuta and accepted. It's just, again, like me and Lucy spoken about, that subtlety of the way the group handles Yuta and the subtle sort of like little micro aggressions that they do. And Mox ends on the note of, by Full Gear, I'm going to teach you all to abandon all hope, which was really nice. And I love the idea of him like picking people off one by one. I hope there's someone else. I hope we don't just go straight from the Orange Cassidy program to Darby. Like, I know Daniel Garcia is wrapped up with Jack Perry, but Hook, I guess he's wrapped up as well with Christian at the moment. So maybe they will, because those were the four, and obviously Adam Cole, but he's doing Adam Cole stuff. He's the main character of his own little shonen, quasi shonen fucking anime story at the moment with MJF. But I don't know. I'd like to see someone else like in the middle, because I like the idea of like all the good guys being picked off and then Darby being the only one who's left. And he's like broken and bloodied, and he's got to like fight and like final movie like end scene, you know? That's how I play it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the match next week, because like Mog said, him and you have a hell of a lot of baggage together. He was under his tutelage for a while. He was like with like sort of on the perimeter of the best friends faction. So it'll be interesting to see how both of them sort of deal with that. Yeah, and as they were leaving, Darby dove from the crowd and a brawl descended. Which again, as me and Lou said, we love these like fun spots that Darby's doing that are like crazy but safe and unpredictable, and it's just cool. And then it cuts to the back in the parking lot, and they drive off without Yuta, which again, it's that subtlety that he is truly a pawn, and they're okay with having, he's expendable, and they're okay with having him be lost. You know, it really is chess. Marina's the queen, although what the hell Marina's doing, again, I stress every week, please get involved in the women's division. But you know, Claudio is his bishop, Pac is knight. I don't know, but Yuta is definitely a pawn and definitely expendable. You know, the thing about a pawn, I was going to say the thing about prawn. The thing about a pawn in chess is when it reaches the end, you can take any piece back that you want. So you know, sometimes a pawn can be valuable. I like chess. I like castling. If anyone knows that move where like you get the rook and then you move it and you swap. Anyway, yeah, this Darby dived into the sort of what would you call it? A boot, but it's not a boot. The little back bit of the vehicle. And Claudia just annihilated him. He like kind of just drove him into the shutters and then did the big swing into it, and then they drove off just as the conglomeration arrived and was sort of consoling Darby, who was very fired up, but he had no one to sort of square up against. So again, just building up all of that tension. But this, I mean, it wasn't what I expected with the season, the Superstation thing, but it delivered. It was a good little segment. And then we had Renee with Jericho, who, long-winded, essentially asks, will you accept Ishii's challenge? He will. Clap if you care. Then we had Britt Baker versus Penelope Ford, two people I'm a big fan of. This was short and sweet. Unfortunately, the women's division, we've slid back into the old habit of sort of 3/4 of the way through the show, we have like our toilet break match, our 5-minute match, and we'll have a few itty bitty segments as well. But this match largely ran through picture in picture, so, and it was fun, but it didn't have much time. Britt Baker won with the lockjaw, which I don't know. Some people are quite upset about that because they're like, Penelope Ford deserves the shine, because obviously she lost last week to Jamie Hayter. But I think we're just kind of, I don't think it's that deep, because like we're just reintroducing her to the audience and like having her be a player on the flagship show. So I'm not particularly mad about that. But Serena Deeb came out at the end as well. Clap if you care. But yeah, it's a bit throwaway, and it's not. I mean, I just enjoyed it because I like both women. I was just happy to see them both wrestle. I'd say I would have liked to see it be a bit longer, but yeah, I feel like with Penelope Ford, they're kind of doing like a Queen Aminata thing, like trying to get her over in a similar way of, oh, we'll showcase her in some matches. Yeah, she's going to lose, but her athletic ability, and we'll see how well she connects with the crowd and kind of go from there, which I think is fine. I just wish we had a little bit more going on as well in the women's division. Um, but yeah. And then we had Mina Shirakawa with Renee, which this has been teased for ages. Mina's coming back, Mina's coming back. And this is also something that is going to play into the women's title. So the top feud in the women's division. I would have thought there would have been a bit more pomp and circumstance, a bit more pizzazz to this because, like I said, it's a big deal her coming back and it's going to have big ramifications. But no, she was just with Renee and she had the champagne. Harley Cameron comes into the frame and takes it out and drinks it. And essentially, they're going to have a match on Collision. The Harley Cameron cuts a really unhinged promo about she's the Harley Cameron of Harley Camerons. God, she's always had like that crazy character since sort of Team with Surveyor, but she's like amped it up so much, like Tony Storm levels of character, and then yeah, it ended with some unhinged shimmying. We're going tit for tit. It's just chaos, but in the best way. But I love that Harley Cameron has like they've been sort of exposing her slowly. She's been building herself up on Collision and Rampage, and now she can come out on Dynamite and cut a really like entertaining promo, and she knows who she is. And in matches as well, when she wrestles, she knows who she is, and that's something to commend. And I think that's what they should do. If there's someone who, is a bit generic, or with her, she was just green. She was just very, very green. And you don't have like a training center. You don't. It's kind of just ask if you need help, but also at the same time like figure it out. Lol, like that Jeremy Clarkson meme. How do I do it? You just do it. But unfortunately, I don't know how to do it. That's like what is given AEW. But yeah. And that's it makes sense. That's who you want to pair up against. You want Mina to play off someone with a larger than life personality. You wouldn't want to book her against fucking Serena Deeb, for example, would you? But yeah, and a Collision the previous weeks was pretty good. There was lots of things of consequence. So yeah. They're doing all right with that. And then we had Swerve versus Leo Rush. This match was awesome. I really enjoyed the opening match, but I think like this was probably my match of the night. This was just so good. The Finn outs at the start, them going step for step, just how well they know each other and playing off that. It was so entertaining. Swerve ended up picking up the victory with the big pressure though, and I love how strong Swerve and Lashley are both looking before Full Gear. It's really interesting. Like I know, like especially at the end of this and before, like they have had a few beatdowns on Swerve, but when it comes to them going 1-on-1, and if there is no outside interference, it really does feel like it could go either way. I mean, I do think Lashley's going to win because he's like new, and you want to push them and put the Hurt Syndicate over, and the whole thing is they're formidable, they're black excellence. Look at the power that we have together. So it would kind of contradict that if he just fucking lost. Like, why would anyone want a joint faction? But it does still feel like, who could win? Yeah, he called Lashley out post match, and MVP says to Swerve, you'll learn the lesson about the strength in numbers as Shelton Benjamin attacks him from behind, and then Lashley gets into the ring and gets his lashes in. Ha ha ha. And Nana, he's getting choked out by MVP with his cane. He's forced to watch the beatdown. And then Swerve goes limp in Lashley's full Nelson. My fourth thing that I love in wrestling, which this show did, is when a move is highlighted and it's like, this is going to be important. Like in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse when he's like, this is a secret tool for later. Like, this is going to be important for the match. Like the Tiger Driver, like the Nelson, the full Nelson and him going limp. And I just love I don't know, like when you have that foresight of like, I can just tell it's going to be like, oh, he needs to avoid that full Nelson. If he gets in that full Nelson, it's game over. And I think that's fantastic to build a match around because, like I said before, they're level. But then now Lashley has this move over him, bumps him up. So I really like that. And that, like a big move playing into a match, it's just gets me going. Just like it. Next up, we had Renee. Again, next up we had Renee. With Jamie Hayter. I love how confident she was in this. You can't really imagine her cutting a promo like this before her injury. Just the level of confidence that she has, it's really nice to see. And she's like, you know, everything I've done, everything I said I was going to do, I've been doing, and I'm coming after one thing. But then we cut to Julie Hart, who sort of has blood on her shirt, and she answers the phone, and Brody Lee's like, you need to come back home. But the phone, ooh, spooky bitch, the wire is cut. Ooh. But yeah, so that's cool. She's going to be returning. So yeah, which leads me to think that the House of Black are definitely, again, like my whole thing of last week of ripping it apart to build it back up. I think the House of Black are back on the up, and especially with the fact that they later on won the next match, which was the main event. I wouldn't be surprised if Private Party are just collateral damage and House of Black make it to the end and they win the tag titles. I honestly wouldn't be surprised because it really does feel like, you know, they need it. So yeah, cut to the main event and we've got Private Party watching. They were hilarious in this, like all the near falls and then them being like, oh my god, I thought he had it. Like, oh, it was so funny. Yeah, so we've got Brody and Malachi, the Knights of the Black Throne. So edgy, dude. My corpse paint. Rah. Versus FTR. Great to see these two in action. There's lots of respect and lots of love between the two teams. And I said, I love the near falls. More so than the near falls. I love Private Party's reactions. Especially Brother Zay. He'll always be Brother. I just can't get over how random that was. Like, that side quest that he completed, Brother Zay. Bloody Brother Zay. And Dax the Axe is put in the sleeper hold by Brody Lee, and he picks up the win. So it's quite a, after all his near falls, it's quite a brutal finish to the match. And yeah, I think the right team won. And I don't know, like, with House of Black, like I say, they've kind of been winning me round a bit because they've been so pathetic that I can't help but feel sorry for him, because I'm an empath like that. So that shit works on me. But yeah, that's cool. That's some cool stuff. But then also you can't count out the Outrunners. They picked up the win on Collision as well, so they're advancing. So I think, you know, equally they could do Private Party versus Outrunners and Private Party win. But yeah, I really enjoyed this show. It had a good balance of storytelling, but also good wrestling, which has been a bit of a difficult balance the past few weeks. Like, it's been like either one or the other. But this really, really hit it hard. It's weird though, because like coming off a run of quite shitty shows, you're kind of almost hesitant to rank it high because it feels weird. I'm gonna go with an 8. I feel like realistically it's more an 8.5, but like I said, I don't know if I'm feeling that, and I don't know. Because like on paper the matches were good and everything like made sense and everything was good, but I don't know. I'm going to give it a comfortable 8. Okay, because so you need to, like I say, the rankings, they mean something here, and we need to make sure that like a 9 or a 10 means something. So that'll do it. That is the show this week. Please send in your thoughts. What did you think? I had a lot of questions, so if you want to respond to any of those questions, you want to entertain me, you don't want to entertain me, out's good. But yeah, next week's Dynamite, we will both be reviewing it full gear next weekend. We'll do the predictions. I can't remember what was going on during the pay-per-view. I'm off away to a concert on Saturday night, and I think Lucy might be busy all weekend. Unless I've made that up and she isn't. In which case we'll both be putting it out. But if not, it might just be me. I think it might be. But yeah, that'll do it. That's the show. What did you rate it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I hate signing off. It's awkward. It's like I can't. Like, even when I'm on the phone with someone and like we have to hang up, I'm so awkward. And I'll either like just keep going on for ages, or I'll just like awkwardly hang up and cut them off. But fuck me. Anyways, bye. Bye.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night, bye.
I wish you died in the womb!